have saved a whole bunch of time. They didn't have to just jump off into that. They could have found out their own personal calling, found out what was in alignment with them. But in order to do that, you would have to sit against the pressures that's going to make you be validated by the white supremacist institution. Because it's going to be pressure. You ain't going to be able to sit nowhere and they're going to say, well, do you have a job? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are you going to do that? Are you going to do that? You're going to have pressures coming against you. So you have to be strong in knowing that who yourself is going to come out and manifest itself. You have to be solid in that to allow that to manifest. And when that does, you won't need a job. Somebody asked me last week, what are my goals? I said, I don't have no goals. I have a purpose. And I create goals in the moment in order to what? Fulfill the purpose. If you're just living from goal to goal to goal to goal, then ultimately that's going to be empty.
Connected dots, la, 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 la.
Absolutely. And sometimes you'll find out that certain goals are unnecessary because a goal is just kind of like a calculation. It's kind of like a map to let your ultimate purpose come into complete fruition. That's what it is. But if you don't know the purpose, then once again they get lost in the goals. And then they fulfill the goals, but feel a deep sense of unfulfillment. Why? Because they wasn't willing to get in touch and in tune with their higher purpose. So our people, as a community, lack purpose. But in order to have purpose, you have to have confidence. Because you got to be important. For you to have a purpose, you automatically implying that you're important. It's easy for somebody to accept God and say, I'm living for God, because they are unimportant. They feel that they are unimportant. So they're living for God. But when you go in and say, I have a purpose, now you automatically have become important. That somehow all of this is set up somehow for you. You got to be pretty sure. You got to be pretty sure. But if you're not sure, then you live it all for God. And you become a workaholic and you work yourself to death for some feeling of social reward by somebody else saying you're doing a good job, or at least I can see you working. That's a small, minute reward, and they live for that. But when they find their purpose, then they get authority. There's authority in a person who has a purpose. They move with a whole different type of authority that is respected and is understood by people looking at them. That this man or this woman is on a mission. I can tell you're serious. You automatically look organized. You look professional. You look like somebody that you just can't get messed with. Why? Because if you mess with them, then you get pulled into their purpose. And if you have a purpose, you're going to lead them along. Because purpose respect purpose. But purpose need purposelessness. Y'all follow what I'm making? Because it needs to pull those people without a purpose into it to help solidify its purpose. Y'all follow the point that I'm making? A police officer is driving around looking for people with no purpose. Because his purpose is to lock people up. But he can't lock people up with a purpose. Because their purpose is too strong. Their purpose is too strong. So then when they go into people with this strong purpose, they get converted. They get converted. That's how they got their job. They accepted somebody else's purpose to stop crime, to fight against crime in the community. That was somebody else's purpose that they accepted. So they're open to people's purposes. That's why they ask you, well, what are you doing? Somebody with purpose is not so much concerned about what other people are doing, period. They're not driving around looking at what other people are doing. They're driving around with the purpose of what they're doing. So anybody who's looking and driving around to see what other people are doing can easily get snatched into somebody else's purpose. That's why they sit by the phones waiting on somebody to call. Somebody calls up, my purpose is to kill my wife and I want you to see it. Okay, I'm on my way. Y'all feel the